Hello and welcome to another guided meditation from the Hamblin Vision. My name's Mike Jenkins and this guided meditation, is titled Sounds and Silence. So the purpose of this guided meditation is to turn our attention towards sounds that are occurring in the present moment, wherever you are right now. Often in meditation, we feel that we have to create a very quiet and peaceful environment. And while that can be very conducive and is very helpful for us to practice and develop the art of meditation or to become more comfortable and familiar with regular practice, oftentimes you might have noticed that the world we live in is very rarely completely silent. It's very rarely completely still. And so it might be useful to also develop a way of tuning into your own awareness and becoming present in this moment right here, alongside all of the sounds and the movement and the so-called distractions of the world. So for example, where I am at the moment, at my desk in my home office, I can hear the sound of the washing machine in the kitchen behind me. And first of all, I thought, well, I can't record a meditation while the washing machine's going on. But actually, sounds are not necessarily the enemy. If you notice around the sounds, when you stop and you pause and you leave enough gaps in between one thought and the next, there's an awful lot of silence present alongside the sounds. One might say the sounds are an expression of the empty, open potential of the silence. So even if you begin to just recognize or notice the sounds that are occurring where you are now, not really thinking about them, not analysing them or making any conclusions or judgments or commentary about the sounds, but simply noticing them, observing them. So here where I am, there's the sound of a ticking clock. The sound of some kind of reversing vehicle beeping somewhere out in the street. And as you practice this more and more, to simply just witness and notice the phenomena of what is happening here and now, without any commentary, without any story woven around it, you may begin to feel your own presence, your own awareness. You may begin to notice sensations in the body, warmth or coldness, the feeling of the chair that you're sitting in, as well as noticing sounds coming and going, and noticing the silence doesn't change. So simply just listening to the sounds of this present moment, to the mind and to the sort of egoic part of ourselves that always wants to be achieving and being productive and making things happen and fighting off this challenge and ticking off this job on the list, or whatever it is that we're efforting towards in our lives. That part of our psyche has a real problem with just listening to whatever sounds are present here and now. And so you may find some resistance within you. It's boring. The sounds aren't interesting. Why on earth would I just sit here listening to sounds? But we're also listening to and witnessing the silence that is present alongside the sounds. There is something here in our direct present moment experience that doesn't change and that is not altered even if there are chaotic or boring or repetitive or uninteresting sounds happening. There is a constant, changeless reality. And one might say that silence is a very real world metaphor for our own awareness. As humans, we have this capacity to be aware of different things. And our awareness is like a blank screen or an open space, an open field. And that awareness can choose to be aware of looking at a cup of tea, for example, like I'm doing now, or looking at a lampshade, a bunch of daffodils. Or it can be aware of thoughts, aware of feelings, aware of physical sensations. And much like the silence, that capacity for awareness doesn't necessarily have to become lost or identified with what it is aware of. So there's an aspect of my own self, my own being, that can be aware of feeling sad or feeling frightened or feeling apprehensive or anxious, and yet not be identified as the anxious person, the sad person, the frightened person, but can simply witness there is fear or anxiety or uncertainty or apprehension. There is something here that I can witness, and I might need to take action as a result of that, or I might not. The silence of this moment that is providing the open space for the sounds to occur, that silence isn't identified as the sounds. The silence doesn't mistake itself for the sound of the washing machine. And yet the silence doesn't prevent the washing machine from simply making its sound. It allows all sounds to come and to go. And when the washing machine is finished, the silence remains as it was before the sound was happening. Much the same with our awareness. we have the capacity to be aware of thoughts or feelings, and then when those thoughts and feelings change, as they always do, when they become something else, or there's a different flavour of feelings, a different theme in our lives at a different day, then the awareness remains the same, witnessing, observing, holding, if you like, providing an open container for those things to occur within. This simple shift in perception, the way that we perceive the world, this simple shift in our perspective can make all the difference to our daily lives. There will be times we need to very quickly and rapidly respond to sounds or thoughts or feelings, and there are other times we can simply allow them to be and become identified with the emptiness, the silence, the stillness, the open space. So I hope you have found this short meditation on sounds and silence helpful. It's a useful practice that we can return to again and again. There's no real winner in any of these practices. It's just a way of experiencing the world and choosing and experimenting with how we navigate, and if we can do that in a more skillful way.